Welcome into 5 Wide Fantasy. Today's video, we're going over the must-start players in Week 8 of the fantasy football season, but as well, some players you need to include in your OwnersBox NFL DFS lineups this week. Our 50K Sunday Smash contest is live on the platform. If you guys haven't signed up, that link will be down below in the description. A $10 free entry into our DFS contest if you haven't signed up, and as well, a $10 Lightning lineups entry. If you haven't checked out that game format, man, definitely go do so. Another free entry there. Lightning 10 for Lightning lineups, DFS 10 for our DFS games. So let's get into the slate here, and let's start, as I always like to do, at the quarterback position and with the super flex spot that OwnersBox has. So an added super flex spot. Always like to look at two QBs. So we'll roll through the quarterback spot and some of my favorite plays this week. I do really like going back to the Cardinals against the Vikings. The Vikings pass defense and coverage grade, passing DVOA are fairly low. I think they have the second lowest coverage grade in the NFL this season. I think it presents a good matchup for Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. I was also looking at Kirk Cousins, but Kirk has not been good against the blitz this year, or really just in his career in general. I do like their matchup against the Cardinals in terms of the skill set they have in the Cardinals secondary, but the blitz could be a problem for Cousins. Some other guys, if we're looking at some other lower priced options, I did talk about Davis Mills on our waiver wire video. I think it's a good matchup. The Titans have a very bad secondary, not a lot of talent there, but they do have a good pass rush. But I do think the Texans, who have a good pass protection unit, can give Mills some time to move the ball. And there's actually some value we'll talk about at the wide receiver position, I think, because of that. Some other players that I'm considering, Daniel Jones against Seattle, I think is a good matchup. Same goes for Tua against Detroit is another very, very enticing matchup. I think Tua will be one of the most rostered players on the platform this week. I'd be surprised if that's not the case. So what I'm going to do is let's start with Kyler Murray and Davis Mills, and then I'll get to who I want to stack these guys with. Mills is like the third lowest priced quarterback on the week, so I definitely think that he has a matchup that you might want to consider getting in on, especially at the price that he's at. So the two guys I want to stack, definitely want to go at DeAndre Hopkins. In that return, just a very, very good start to his fantasy season. If you guys were stashing him like I was in a couple of my leagues, you're looking very, very good in that spot. So I think these two will have another big week after last week. The Texans side of things, though, Brandon Cooks has had having Brandon Cooks on a few of my fantasy teams has been really frustrating because he's not at a point where you just don't want to play him, but he's not scoring at all. Nico Collins looks like he's going to miss this Sunday, so it's going to present some opportunities. It looks like Chris Moore has come into that and taken over that slot role, but Philip Dorsett looks like he's going to have that secondary spot out wide. So you can really play off of these two guys at really cheap prices. Dorsett, I believe, is $3,700. Yep. And then Chris Moore, I believe he's $4K. So the two of them present really good options. Do I want to spend up on Brandon Cooks? Not particularly, just not finding the end zone. So I think I'm going to go with Chris Moore, just because Moore gives me the slot role. If there is some troubles with protection, him being in the slot will get some more looks. I know Cooks gets into the slot, but 30% of his routes too, but Moore will be that primary guy. So I'm going to go there. And again, this is a spot for me where you can expose some really good value at the wide receiver position with those two. Going to running back. Again, if you guys watched the running back rankings video from yesterday, I am really high on Raheem Mostert this week, and he is not priced appropriate to his matchup. He's down at 5,300, which I think is going to be really good value for us. He's going against Detroit, who have one of the worst defenses against running backs in terms of fantasy points allowed. I believe they're 31st, so a good matchup for Mostert. I think that Miami will control this game. I think Mostert will continue to have another big week in the role that he's now kind of taken over for in Miami. Some other players we can kind of touch on. Whatever happens in this injury to Zeke, he hasn't been practicing with the knee injury. If Pollard's the only one in this backfield, he's going to make for a great start for this week in your season-long leagues. But he's also someone you can pivot to and get at a cheaper price this coming week on our DFS platform as well, and pretty much across the board in DFS. Tyler Algier is another player I like going up against Carolina. We mentioned this. The Atlanta Falcons are running the ball a ton right now, so he definitely presents a good option. And then there was a couple other guys I wanted to mention as well. There's Tony Pollard. He's actually priced at 5,400, just above, at the same price as Ezekiel Elliott. So I think if he's by himself, he's definitely going to return some good value. The other one I wanted to bring up was Derrick Henry. I want to put Derrick Henry. I'm putting him in now because I don't see a way that you'd want to. This is the guy I want to build my lineup around, because if Ryan Tannehill's banged up, if they go to Malik Willis, they're going to run the ball against the Texans 35, maybe 40 times. I would not be shocked if Derrick Henry gets 40 carries this week. So I want to have him in there. He'll definitely be someone that I think will probably be relatively highly rostered, but I don't have a problem with it because I don't see a scenario where this guy doesn't give me at least 20 points this week. So definitely a player that I want to revolve my team around. So filling out the running back spot, filling out the quarterback spot. We got tight end and the two additional flex spots to look at. Let's start at tight end. Tight end to me is a position I'm usually looking to save on, and I think Irv Smith presents a good value. I believe the Cardinals are, I think they're bottom 3 in fantasy points allowed to tight ends. Irv Smith Jr., I think, is in a really good matchup against the Cardinals, 4,300, a really good price. Some other players below him that you could consider, Foster Moreau. It looks like Waller did practice on Wednesday, I believe. I'm recording this Thursday afternoon. He did practice Wednesday, so there is a chance that he does play, because last week he just didn't practice and didn't play. If he's on the field, usually that's a decent sign that he'll be available. But if he's not, Foster Moreau is definitely an excellent play. Even if you want to stream him this week in your season-long leagues, I think I wouldn't have a problem with that either. And that pretty much covers, some of these lower-priced guys I'm just not really even looking to. Even the Texans group there with O.J. Howard and Jordan Akins. So we'll add, I'm going to go with Irv Smith Jr. at tight end, and then we'll make our way to the flex spot, still with a good 5,400 left to spend at these other two spots. So let's go to that, around that 5,400 price. We're looking at, we can even spend a little bit more. I was thinking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. If I did spend on Amon-Ra, I would have 4,400 left. I think with the way the Lions defense or pass catchers are looking, with DJ Chark on IR, with Josh Reynolds not practicing, it looks like Khalif Raymond's their best option. And Amon-Ra ran only 4 routes last week, left with the injury. Concussion is what they were labeled it as, but Dan Campbell has been pretty convincing during the week here that he'll be available on Sunday, no problem. He's been practicing in a limited fashion, but again, these protocols right now are pretty strict. I think it's going to be much like COVID was, where once we get to late into the season and these games start to really have some meaning, they won't be holding this to the degree they have been in terms of taking guys out, basically just automatically sitting them for a week. So I'm going to Amon-Ra in a really good matchup. The Dolphins have been brutal against wide receivers this season. So let's do that, and then I'll look at a cheaper option at around 4,400 with this last spot. I think that makes the most sense. Tyquan Thornton coming off of a tough game against the Bears. The Bears have just been a team that actually have been pretty good against wide receivers. The Jets are now, believe it or not, have the second highest coverage grade from PFF this season. Sauce Gardner has done some wonders to what this pass defense looks like now for them. Another one would be Rex Burkhead. I don't want to get too in on the Texans just with the Titans and the volume they'll probably run at. This game might not have a lot of plays. Paris Campbell, man, I don't see a lot of harm in going back to Marquise Goodwin after he had a huge week against the Chargers. We got a spot here where DK is going to be out for a bit, so there's definitely some opportunity here for him. So that would be a potential option for sure. Noah Brown, if we wanted to go both Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond, that could be something we do. I think I'm going to take the upside of Tyquan Thornton. I think that's the way I want to go here, just with, I know this is a tough matchup against the Jets, but I don't expect Thornton to draw coverage from Sauce Gardner. I expect Devontae Parker to be in that spot, so he's definitely not someone I want to look to. But I think from the opposite side, Thornton could be a decent option against the Jets, a team that New England's been able to handle for years now. The only other guy I would look at in this price range would be Marquise Goodwin at 4,300. Man, now I'm kind of going back and forth with it. I think let's go Goodwin. I know I'm taking him off a big week, but his price hasn't really changed very much off of that big week. And he's going to be the number 2 option behind Tyler Lockett. So going there. So let's just round out the team here. We have Kyler Murray and Davis Mills at the quarterback spots. or Mills being in the super flex, stacking Davis Mills with Chris Moore, and then stacking Kyler Murray with DeAndre Hopkins. And at running back, two backs I have priced or have ranked as Derrick Henry as the RB1 and Raheem Mostert as my RB12 on the week. So very nice to have those two guys in the running back spots. Tight end Irv Smith in a good matchup against Arizona. As long as Kirk Cousins has enough time here against the blitz, I think Irv Smith might be an option. He looks to a fair bit, just looking to get the ball out quickly against a really heavy blitzing looks from the Cardinals. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown and Marquise Goodwin in the flex. I think St. Brown makes his return and does what he's been doing in every game he's been available for, and that is pick up plenty of volume and likely against the Dolphins be able to find the end zone. So him and Marquise Goodwin in the flex spots. And again, if you guys haven't signed up, that link is down below in the description. What are you waiting for? 2 free entries and a deposit match from us. If you guys have been enjoying the channel this season, please do support us. Check out the site. Join our Discord as well. And if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.